Welcome to our city. I'm Alonzo Jones, and joining me this week from the Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce is the Executive Director, Mr. Gordon Haas. How are you, Gordon?
Hi, Alonzo. How are you? It's good to be here.
Great to have you back. You're like a regular here, so you know the routine.
I know the routine. I always look forward to having that phone call come from City Hall and to have something to say about some of the things we're doing, exciting things going on in the city.
So if you don't mind, just share a little bit about yourself with the viewers, please.
I am a native New Yorker who's lived in Elizabeth more than half of my life. Moved here for, as my wife and I like to say, we moved here for 1 year back in 1969. It's been a very long year. Grown roots in the city. Our children have grown up here and gone on to married life on their own, and we're back to being empty nesters. But we love this city. We've grown to love it very much, and this is our home, and we're very happy to be involved with the things we're involved in.
Well, if anyone hasn't done so yet, I want to say welcome to the city of Elizabeth.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Alonzo.
And during your brief stay here this 1 year, you've happened to come across the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. How long has this been in existence?
Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce was founded in late 1996 and actually began to function in 1997, in January of 1997. So I guess that makes us 17 and a half years old.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, it's right. It's time flies.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did it get started?
I had a business here in town, a marketing business, and one of my customers at that time was the Hearst Tower, and they had asked me to join the then Chamber of Commerce in the area, which was located in Elizabeth, but was a county Chamber of Commerce. I met Joe Keenan, Councilman Keenan. At that time, he was the director of the library. And Joe and I, after discussing, following one of those meetings, decided that there wasn't enough attention being paid to what was going on in the city of Elizabeth. Right. Mayor Bolwich had been elected about 4 years before, and we felt that there was a lot of change going on in the city. And between the two of us, as Councilman Keenan would always like to say, that we had bagels and lox one Sunday morning in my house, and we decided to see if we could start a Chamber of Commerce. So in December, as a matter of fact, it was Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1996, we had a breakfast meeting in IKEA with a group of business people. It was decided at that point to see what we could do. We started the Chamber in January of 1997.
Now, you touched on it briefly there, but if you can explain the importance of having a Chamber of Commerce here in Elizabeth.
A Chamber of Commerce is, in my way of thinking, the most important thing a Chamber of Commerce can do is networking. I go back to that meeting, that breakfast meeting, December 24th, 1996, and at the table I was sitting at, there were two gentlemen who literally were in the same building in the city of Elizabeth. One was an architect and one was an attorney. Neither of them had ever met. And by the time we were finished with that breakfast, they were talking about a deal between the two of them. So that's what a chamber does. Every time we have an event, networking is the most important thing that goes on at those events. We very rarely will bring in a speaker, because when we started this chamber, the speakers tended to attract only those people who were interested in the topic, so that you would get a very small attendance, only those people interested in whatever the topic was. Networking draws a crowd. When we do our monthly business after hours, we usually draw anywhere from 50 to 100 plus to the event. And usually someone walks out with something in their hand, business-wise, that they didn't have any inkling they would find there. Right. So when people say to me, well, what does a chamber do? You know, the elevator speech, describe it in one word. I'm a matchmaker. I make matches business to business. That's what a chamber does.
And you meet once a month there? Or?
We have an event at least once every month. We have the mayor's State of the City speech, which he does in January for the business people here in town. We also take part in the statewide chamber Walk to Washington, which is an event that the state chamber runs every year, where there's a train ride down to Washington, and there's networking on the train, and then a dinner with the congressmen and senators and the governor. And
that's called a Walk to Washington on the train.
It's called the Walk to Washington because no one ever sits down while that train ride is going on. So literally they're walking to Washington. Right. And it attracts anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 people. Right. So it's a great opportunity to meet people. And it's one of those things where once you've met somebody, they can't get off the train in the middle of a ride, so it's a good meeting. But we do a lot of business after hours, and what we try to do, our business after hours are free for members as well as prospective members. We invite prospective members to come to at least two of them before they have to make a decision as to whether they want to be a member or not. Right. We we like them to have the ability to network, and what we do is we try to show off our member restaurants and hotels by moving from different places. Last month we were at the Garden up in on McGee Avenue. This I heard you in the opening mention Ursino. We're having a meeting at Ursino on Wednesday night, and we expect to have at least 100 people at that event. Shows off Ursino, gives an opportunity for people to see restaurants that they've never seen before. A couple of months ago we were at the lobby. People, same thing with the Garden. There were people who live in the area who'd never been in that hotel.
So it's a win-win for the business owner.
Yeah, it's a win-win for the business. We usually do it on a Wednesday night, which is a quiet night in the restaurant. It gives the restaurant an opportunity to show off their food and also allows our members to network quietly in a small area.
And for a business like Orsino, I'm quite sure those businesses, they will come back, have business meetings.
We hope so. We urge people. Invariably, when the thing ends at 7 or 7:30 in the evening, 7:30 in the evening, there are always people who stay at the. If it's in a restaurant or a hotel with a restaurant, they always stay there to have a couple of drinks or sometimes have dinner as well come back in the future. And it's a great opportunity for them. We also promote our restaurants with a visitor's guide that we've done in the past. We're in the process now of getting ready to start to produce a new visitor's guide, both as a print version as well as an online version with QR codes and all that fancy technology that goes on today. And the object of the game is to promote those restaurants before the Super Bowl coming up.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned about 100 members. How many members actually?
500 members. We have about 100 members show up at the events, but we have 500 members. The NJ Biz magazine does a ranking of chambers by size. We were the 16th largest chamber in the state of New Jersey last year.
Okay. Now, members who sign up, is there an advantage to them who maybe don't sign up? I mean, there's an advantage.
The advantage is that they get to be invited to all our events. As I said, prospective members, we have to draw the line at a certain point to say, you've come, you've gotten the advantage of not being a member, but getting the advantages what members are getting.
Right.
But we also do a weekly e-blast to all our members. If a member has a special that they want to offer, or as I was leaving the office, there's an event coming up that involves PNC Bank, which is one of our members, for small business. So those members are going to get invited to that, whereas non-members may never see that.
Is it difficult finding new members?
It's not difficult in a city like Elizabeth. What's difficult is getting people to sign up at times, especially with the economy recovering very slowly. But we've been growing quite rapidly. I mean, as I said, for a chamber that started in 1997 to be the 16th largest, I would say that in the top 20 we're the youngest of all the chambers there.
Good. We're going to take a brief break, and we'll come back in the second half of the show and talk some more about the great work happening with the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the second half of Our City with Gordon Haas. Don't move. Thank you. Welcome back to the second half of Our City, where I'm joined today by the Executive Director of the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce, Gordon Haas. And Gordon, one of the great things that you've done, I noticed over the years, is the Elizabeth Community Profile. The new magazines have just been released. Tell the viewers what that is exactly.
There it is. It just came out about 2 weeks ago. It's about the city, obviously. It covers, obviously, a letter of welcome from the mayor and from the chamber, but then we talk about the demographics of the city and an overview of the history and what you can do tourism-wise, recreation-wise, transportation-wise, all the important facts about the city in one document, and we produce this every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Right.
Okay. And once they're printed, where can the viewers find these magazines?
Okay, the magazine's available at City Hall in the lobby. There is a rack that they're supposed to be in. If they're not there, then you can go up to the Public Information Office, and I believe they have them. The city acquired 4,000 copies of it, so I guess it's there. We use it when a visitor, somebody calls us and says, I'm planning to visit the area, can you send me some information? This is what we send out to them. I know the mayor uses them when there's a corporation that's looking to come to the city. I believe he also sends it in the welcome package to every new resident that comes to the city. And obviously it's used at the League of Municipalities. Anything that promotes the city of Elizabeth, this magazine is present.
Now, as I look at the table of contents, one of the things we have here is history. And for those viewers who may not know about the 350th celebration in 2014, can you tell us about it?
Well, the city of Elizabeth is going to be celebrating a big birthday. The city of Elizabeth is going to be celebrating the 350th anniversary of its founding in 1664. It was founded at the site of the First Presbyterian Church on Broad Street, the same location. It's very curious, by the way, it's this 350th anniversary of the city and state, same day, same place, same time, because when the city of Elizabeth was formed, Elizabethtown was the state of New Jersey. And Elizabethtown originally ran from the Arthur Kill all the way to the Delaware River. So it was what was called North Jersey at that time. So we're going to be celebrating that 350th anniversary. There's a lot going on. We're working on committees, and we have a group of sponsors who've been kind enough to get us started with an e-newsletter that comes out every month now to promote the city and the events that are coming to the city. We also have a way to sign up, and if you sign up for that e-newsletter, it'll be delivered to your email box once a month. But when you sign up the first time, you're entered in a contest. We have a monthly contest. Right now, that contest is for a gift certificate to Jersey Gardens, to the outlet collection at Jersey Gardens. And the website to go sign up for it is goelizabethnj.com. GOELIZABETHGO.com. And if you sign up, you get the newsletter on a basis, and you'll find out about what's going on the 350th anniversary. We want to thank the sponsors of that newsletter. That's Trinitas Hospital, Trinitas Regional Medical Center, Investors Bank and Union County College were the sponsors, and the founding partners for all of this 350th. The people who are working on it are obviously people from the City of Elizabeth, Groundwork, the county, Union County, the Chamber, Liberty Hall Museum, the Academy, the old historic trust at the First Presbyterian, and we've had some sponsorship. The pins that you see were sponsored by Highway Services and Regional Industries.
Okay.
And we're looking, if you're out there and you're looking to sponsor one of these events, we'll be glad to talk to you about it.
Now, I'm looking at the 350 pin you have there, and in addition to that, what are you doing to promote the event? And hopefully we can get a good shot of that while you're talking.
Okay, you'll start to see the banners are coming up around it. If you go to various events, the banners are there. If you go to our websites, the websites all have that logo on it. We're beginning to get down, we've been working for 2 years trying to get the concept put together for this 350th anniversary, and now you're finally getting to the stage where we've got the infrastructure put into place, the various committees. We have a history committee, we have a diversity committee. Both of them are looking at different areas. The history committee slogan is Elizabethtown, history is still being made there. And the diversity committee is Elizabeth, a great place to live. Okay. And so we're trying to work on all kinds of things. We've been meeting. We're talking about some major events happening. We're talking about hopefully a reenactment of the British invasion of Elizabeth.
Okay.
When the British came over from Staten Island and marched up what's now Elizabeth Avenue, they were stopped at what's now Union Square by the Minutemen, held up in a battle which delayed them long enough that the militia could form up at Springfield for the famous Battle of Springfield. What we're going to do in the reenactment is have the Minutemen stop them at Union Square. The British, of course, will break through, march up to the church. We will burn the church again, figuratively.
Yes.
And then the British will continue to march on to Liberty Hall, where they will be looking for General Livingston. So it will be a very exciting event. We're also planning a parade, a 350th parade, tentatively set for the Sunday before 4th of July next year in 2014. That's Sunday, the 29th of June. And so those are the things we're working on. We're working on a publication of a magazine with the history of the city of Elizabeth in it. We've also found the names of some women who, when the 350th anniversary took place, they were students at Baton, and they wrote What Elizabeth Means to Me. We're trying to find these women and ask them 50 years later what Elizabeth means to them. So if we can find them, that will be incorporated in the magazine as well. So there will be events on a monthly basis. I can't go into all the details yet because they're being formed slowly and by the committee, but
And
they'll
if-
be there by 2014.
Anyone watching the show wants to purchase a pin, how can they do so?
You can get the pins at the First Presbyterian Church on Broad Street. Liberty Hall Museum at the Visitor Center is selling them as well. If you come to one of our chamber events, if you're a business person, come to a chamber event, we have them at chamber events. You can also come to the chamber office, we have some there, as well as calling Phyllis Reich at City Hall at 908-820-4037. That's 908-820-4037. Phyllis has the pins and will try to get them to you if you're ordering them. And they're $5 a piece.
Okay. I know in the past, every year you guys had a big annual dinner cruise. Is it going to happen this year?
Yes, it is. This year it will come out on Wednesday evening, September 11th. And so it was a little more difficult this year in finding a place in Elizabeth because of the damage that the hurricane created down on where we normally leave from the recreation pier. But we did find a location here in Elizabeth. We will do our 3 hours into New York Harbor on 9/11. We're hoping the lights will be lit to commemorate the towers. People will get to see the completed exterior of the new Freedom Tower, reaching now to 1,776 feet high, including the mast. And we hope to have a photo exhibit on board the boat to commemorate 9/11, so people will remember the events 11 years ago.
Speaking of events, what new events can we expect to see in the next coming months from the Chamber?
Well, the Chamber's involved with a small event that's taking place in February. It's called the Super Bowl. So I can tell you one thing right now. The only thing I can tell you for sure is the game will take place on that
Okay.
day. We're working on some events around with the state's host committee for the Super Bowl, and it's progressing. Again, we're a little bit further out. The season's about to start, so hopefully some of those events will come. But one of the major events that will take place in New Jersey, remember it's a joint Super
Right.
Bowl between New York and New Jersey, will take place in Newark, our neighboring town, and we are involved in it in that respect. It's Media Day. It's the first time Media Day will be held outside of the stadium where the game is played, and it will be held on the Tuesday before the Super Bowl at the Prudential Center in Newark.
Okay. So Elizabeth is part of the planning for the...
Elizabeth is part of the planning. The state was divided into 5 regions to work on the Super Bowl. One region was Newark Elizabeth, and I'm sitting on that committee, and hopefully we'll get a little closer and we'll know a little bit more. And of course it'll be in the e-newsletters and all of the other things that we put out.
And I'm quite sure I'll be the first to ask, but if you don't mind, 2 tickets on the 50-yard line, please.
Tickets will be very hard to come by. I've been working on the Super Bowl now for about 5 years. I was on the committee that helped bring the Super Bowl here, and I have no thought that I'm going to see any tickets for myself. Not that I would want to go there. There will be no private transportation to the game.
Right.
That I can tell you. All transportation to the game that day will be by public transportation, buses, I believe limousines, and train.
Wow.
Security will be very, very tight on that day.
So I noticed we're building a new hotel over by the mall. Will that be ready and new jobs available by then?
I met with those folks a couple of weeks ago. It's an Embassy Suites hotel. They hopefully will be, they think they'll be ready sometime late October, early November.
That soon?
Yeah, they're hoping to get some Super Bowl business there. Our hotels, I believe, by and large, are sold out at this point for the Super Bowl. Now, that doesn't mean that all the tickets are bought. What happens is that brokers come in and buy the rooms, and then the brokers put packages together, which include those 50-yard line tickets you're looking for, Alonzo.
Okay.
But I think they're probably out of reach.
Gotcha. And it's safe to say there's some more jobs coming with this new hotel?
We hope so. We hope that the tourism industry, there's some things that are going on. I'll come back at another time to talk about them, but there's some things going on in the tourism industry here in Elizabeth. We're moving toward a way to self-fund tourism, and the bottom line is we hope that that will increase the people coming to stay in our hotels, that will increase the number of people that work in our hotels, and hopefully it will employ some more Elizabeth residents. I believe that the Retail Skills Center at Jersey Gardens is going to be bringing in a hospitality program as well.
Okay. As I look through the magazine one more time, is this a difficult piece to put together, or?
Not really. We have someone who comes in and sells the advertising, which is what pays for it. The writing is done by myself and a couple of other contributors. One of the things that we've done in the last two issues that we hadn't done before was, if you go all the way to the back of the magazine, is a listing of all the social service members of the chamber. We're very proud that we have as many nonprofits, social service agencies, and I felt very strongly that I would like to give them, 150 words or less
Right.
to tout their operations, and this is a benefit to them because they work very hard to help the people in the city of Elizabeth, and so we felt that this was a way to return and say thank you to them as well, and that there's no charge for that listing that we put in there for them.
I think it's safe to say you've covered everything. You have the history of Elizabeth, recreation. If someone wants to get in touch with you and have some other questions or wants to become a member of the chamber, how can someone reach you?
The chamber office is located at 456 North Broad Street on the second floor of what's now the Sovereign Bank, soon to become Sandantar Bank. You can also give us a call at 908-355-7600, 908-355-7600. And if you're interested, reach out to Linda Savard, who's my membership and events director at the chamber. You can try to reach me. I'm not in the office as much as I used to be in the good old days. I'm running around to a lot of meetings. Or you can contact us online at elizabethchamber.com. If you go to that website, elizabethchamber.com, you'll see on the top bar it says Contact Us. There's a Contact Us heading. If you contact us, follow that heading. There's a membership form there you can fill out online, and there's a PayPal connection there, and you can actually pay online as well. And then we'll reach out to you to follow up with you. But you can send us an email. You can reach us. All of that's there, and we urge you, if you have a business, this is a place to join. Networking is great. Our membership is rather stable, and we're very proud that we're doing what we're doing for the city of Elizabeth.
Do you think there's some business out there that might just take for granted the fact or the advantage of being part of the chamber?
Take for granted in a negative
Right.
way. In other words, till you try it, you don't know what you're missing. That's the bottom line. That's why we offer our free business after hours, and we tell businesses, come and try us out. Because once you've done it, invariably, I would say that when businesses come, within 2 meetings, they are a member of the chamber. And that's a critical issue. Once you see the kind of networking that takes place. We did an event earlier this year in conjunction with the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce at
Well,
where were we? I don't remember.
don't worry about that. We're going to cut.
We were full.
We're going to cut the show now anyway. We're getting the
Okay.
sign. So
We're getting the sign.
Well, I
Thank you
wanna-
very much, Alonzo.
thank you. You're a wealth of knowledge as usual, and thank you so much. And much success to you in the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this segment of Our City, and thank you, Gordon Haas, for joining us. Until next week, have a safe and wonderful week. Thank you.